Welcome to another episode of AI for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Ivanlee Jackson, with my co-host, good friend, business partner, and one of the most awesome people I know, Christopher Lay. We in the building. Episode 6. AI for Entrepreneurs.
We are on episode 6. We made it.
We do. Let's do it.
We made it over the hump of the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, man. So excited to get this going. Welcome back. And yeah, AI for Entrepreneurs, y'all. So we always start out with last week in AI. So Christopher, it's been a kind of a quiet week, at least from my end. I know we kind of were talking about it before the show, but anything juicy last week in AI?
Yeah, a lot of what happened last week in AI has all been really super cool for me. Very developer related. But the one thing that I'll give is OpenAI released an updated version of GPT-4. It's faster, smarter, better. It's GPT-4 Turbo. This still kind of falls under developer because at this exact moment right now, it's only available in the API. So you want to try it out, you're going to have to go head on over to Optimize AI Tool Suite because we do have it up and running on all of our assistants right now. But it is coming to ChatGPT soon, they say. There's no specific time frame. They just say soon.
No, I was going to say, just to clarify for those who may not understand like the difference between API and not. So ChatGPT or OpenAI, they have the ChatGPT that most people go to, the web browser. You get free access to 3.5, their base model. If you pay the extra $20 or $25 a month, you get unlimited access to ChatGPT-4. But right, API is a way
unlimited-ish. You get only a certain amount of freaking like whatever 30 messages in an hour or something stupid like that.
No, I just really wanted to clarify. So like API, that's a way for developers like us. So let's say we're building our own AI platform. Right. And we have a nice way of making AI and pre-prompting it and, whatever, like we did, right? Like we did for Optimize AI. We get OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, of the AI that powers ChatGPT, they allow developers like us to tap into that artificial intelligence and use that artificial intelligence to power our programs, our software. And then we can take that same AI and tailor it and whatnot. So a lot of times when they release new features, such as the newest version of ChatGPT-4, they let the developers play with it first. Hence, Chris is excited. He has some new stuff. He has new AI to play with, but the rest of the people
already built in.
The rest of us who are, who are going to regular ChatGPT on the browser and using that version, it hasn't trickled down to us yet. I just wanted to give people different, so not everyone knows like the different ways that OpenAI delivers.
Right. No, that's fair. Yeah. And I mean, at the API, at least, they also added vision capabilities, so you can upload an image through the API. That part not as exciting. I already built that. I already used their base GPT-4 model without vision, and just went ahead and built vision capabilities into our assistants already. But they did go ahead and add that. That was really it. There's another new model that's out. It's really enterprise focused. It's a little bit cheaper. Right at this exact moment, you can't try it as a normal end user. Again, API access, so it very well came out very recently, but it very well may be built into the tool suite very soon. So that you can try it out. But as of right now, again, everything that really happened was very, very exciting for me. But for this podcast, for entrepreneurs who are just trying to create content and do their thing, nothing very exciting happened this week. A little bit of a slow week. So that was last week in AI.
Well, not to give too much away, but I did hear this one exciting company that builds AI platform tailored to entrepreneurs did drop the pretty big update, but I don't
Did you hear that? Was it us? Are you trying to shamelessly pitch us again?
I don't get too much away just yet, but Okay, so moving on. This is probably the quickest last week in AI ever, but today's main
Yeah, so what's our topic this week? Let's tell everyone, what is the topic for the week? What are we doing? Why are we here?
You're here. All right, so today's main topic, this is going to be a good one. It's going to be prompting. We're going to really dig into prompting. We're going to show you guys some sample prompts. We're going to really like try to help you understand the science and the art behind getting what you want, getting quality content via using a good prompt. That should take up a good chunk of this episode. But we did want to just kind of knock out last week in AI. I guess the next segment is the mystery segment. We're just going to kind of breeze through that really quick, but it actually leads us into the main topic of prompting, and we're actually, for the mystery segment, going to do some prompting. So let's kick it off. You with that?
I'm with it. Let's go.
All right. So
I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm exhausted. I'm tired, and I am not prepared. But I'm gonna kick your ass.
All right. So what we're gonna do for this mystery segment is we're both going to try to replicate an image. Do you have an image that we can replicate? You're the artist. So
are we going to try to replicate an image, or just come up with an image we want to create and see who gets a better result?
Okay, that works. I mean, no, because I feel like if we try to replicate,
I can just find a random image. I can just go on the interwebs and find a random image or something.
And then we're trying to replicate, like, oh, can I make this image in AI, right? Because like when we both, the other one adds too many variables. The other approach.
All right. So what do we want to try to? Let me think. What'll be easy but somewhat simple, but not.
Or you can just go to the last image that you created using AI, and let's just try to recreate. Oh no, because then you know how to create it.
That's cheating. Yeah,
I'm just cheating. I mean, this whole exercise is cheating. So just to give y'all some context, Chris is an artist, so he should win this. But I do have a clever approach, I think, in terms of my prompt, where I might be able to keep up. This should be interesting.
All right, we're gonna cheat. We're not cheat. We're gonna go relatively simple. Just a single flower in a field. So that's what we got up here. We have a single flower.
A red flower.
Okay, and so we want to make sure it's red. A single red flower in a field. Blue sky, green grass. That's what we want to try to recreate.
Yes.
So that's what we're gonna do. So now, how do we want to do this? Do you want to write a prompt and then send it to me and I'll put it into my screen, or do you want to share your screen?
You go first.
I gotta go first. All right.
You have an advantage being the photographer. So you know, again, guys. I just want to to set the stage. Chris is a photographer, an award-winning photographer, I may add. So he has an advantage in understanding like the things you need to understand in terms of creating art, what goes into art, such as lighting and all those other different concepts that us laymen, non-award-winning photographers may miss. But while Chris is putting in his prompt, I'm gonna be doing some AI trickery. So we'll see what works. So you go first. While you go, I'm gonna start working on my prompt, so I'll have it ready by the time.
All right. I mean, we do have to talk because some people are just listening to us. So so what I'm doing as I'm trying to come up with a prompt is I'm trying not to go. I'm trying not to kind of cross the line of what may be considered cheating. Because, I mean, to be 100% fair, if I ultimately wanted to recreate that image, I would take the image, I would upload it into this and say, make me this image and tell it what changes I wanted, to be completely fair. So I'm trying to do it in a prompt way, but I'm also trying not to backdoor ChatGPT. I'm trying to write the prompt myself, because if I were ultimately trying to write the perfect prompt for an image, I would tell it what I wanted, but I wouldn't have it generate the image right away. I would actually tell ChatGPT what I wanted, an image. I would give it the reference image. Then I would have it write me a prompt for DALL-E that I would then use to generate that image, because it's that's my ultimate workflow. But I'm trying to write the image from scratch. So I'm trying to not go into the again, I consider that cheating since this is a prompt challenge.
I mean, I don't know, like, because my approach had a little bit of that approach in it.
I don't. Dude.
So what are you typing right now?
I guess you can kind of see on the screen. I guess not really if it's smaller. But so what I have right now is I need you to create it. Now, I mean, this is kind of cheating because you're going to have my prompt. You're going to be able to improve on it. I need you to create an image for me. I want an image of a red flower in a field of green grass. The red flower is in the middle of the image. Then I said I'm at Nikon Z6. That's a camera. 35 millimeter lens, so I'm telling it exactly the type of lens so it knows how far away the focal length should be. I want it to have that depth of field, which is going to blur the background for me. I want an f2.6 aperture, which is going to help support that depth of field because the f2.6 aperture, very wide aperture, so you get a very shallow depth of field. So it's going to help keep the background blurry.
Ooh.
Now I'm adding in, I need this to be a photograph. Realistic. Photographing, realistic. Blue sky with clouds. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's see what we get here. This is a more simple prompt. I'm not using any negative prompts, mainly because you can't do that with DALL-E. That's more of a Stable Diffusion thing. So in Stable Diffusion, one of the things you could do is add what's called a negative prompt. So you can also tell it what you don't want. Error creating image. It's a great, okay, it's going to try again. I'm going to say that was not a reflection on my prompt. That was a reflection on ChatGPT being down. Yeah, with Stable Diffusion, you can also tell it what you don't want to see. So I could say red flower, and then in the negative prompt, I could say blue flower. I could say, like, blue skies, and I could say stormy in the negative prompt. So it'll make sure... Oh, see this little shithead. All right, but this is what I got. I got a red flower in the middle of it, but it actually put it into a lens and a camera because of the way I mentioned the camera.
Oh, man. All right, well,
that's what I got. That I don't get to go again. That is the image I created. So now it is your turn. Send me if you want to write your prompt, or if you want, you could share your screen as well.
Look, the funny thing is, if we was in a competition right now, honestly, my response would be something really simple. I would just say, create me a red flower, a single red flower in a field of grass. Right? I feel like we just overcomplicated. That actually goes.
Oh, you would, because I knew I got it. This is a one-shot deal. I didn't get to, because obviously, like I said, I told you what I would have done in the first place is the crazy kind of complex having it write the prompt for me.
All right,
okay,
so I just
a red flower.
Yeah.
What do we got? I got a red flower.
Oh, well, no, I text you what I would do.
Oh, you texted it to me. I got you.
Yeah, I text you.
All right, so let's read.
We're also going to do the red flower one.
Assistant. Actually, hold on. I also want to make sure. Let's go to a brand new chat. I don't want it to have any reference to what was already done. Okay, you are an assistant who helps me create perfect prompts for DALL-E. I don't know anything about photography, so you'll need to consult me and ask relevant questions, such as lighting preference and mood, etc. Y'all keep asking me questions until I say it's okay. That's enough to go. And then you will create the prompt. Okay, so exactly the cheating method, or what I call cheating, but let's go with it. But, I mean, to be fair, if we're talking about prompting, that's why you said it's a good segue in, because, all right, first off, could you share the main subject or theme you'd like the image to focus on?
A single red flower in a green field of glass with blue sky, clear blue sky.
A green field of grass with clear
I was like,
blue
I expect that to be a ton of
single red flower in a green field of grass with clear blue skies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Mr. GPT says, that sounds like a beautiful and serene scene. Let's refine it a bit more. What type of flower?
A rose. What would you say the lighting was?
Lighting. Would you prefer the scene be captured in the soft, warm light of golden hour shortly after sunset or before sunrise?
Oh, they gave me an
Or
example.
strike that,
Midday.
reverse it. Or in the bright, all right, midday.
Yeah,
2
midday.
is midday. Then we got mood or emotion. What feeling or emotion would you like this image to convey?
Can you go back to
Peacefulness,
that flower?
solitude?
Do you have that flower handy? The one that we were looking at? I'm trying to.
I do. I just have to switch which thing I'm saying. There you go.
What feeling would you say is solitude? Solitude.
Also, that's a poppy flower.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Can we reach?
Yeah, I can switch that to poppy.
Yeah.
And you want?
I want solitude.
You said solitary.
Yeah,
solitude.
solitary.
All right, so we're gonna change rose to poppy.
Red poppy.
Midday. Red poppy. Midday. Solitude. And 4, perspective and focus. Would you like a close-up of the flower with the field and sky blurred in the background, or should all the elements be in sharp focus?
And these are the little things that, again, someone that isn't necessarily a photographer wouldn't know, right? So now that they asked me that question, my next step would be to look at the picture. So could you go back to that picture really quick, just so I can even see? I don't even know like what.
Yep.
They gave an example. So like it looks to me that the flowers in
background
focus
is blurred. Flowers in focus, background is blurry.
All right, so then boom. Yeah, let's see. But I wouldn't have known to ask that question to recreate that result. So that's where the benefit, I think, to the change.
Background blurry.
Yep.
And then it says, should I just send this? It says, feel free to tell me when you've discussed enough options.
That's enough. Yeah.
Okay. That's enough. Options. Generate the plant.
Yep.
Based on your preferences, here's a detailed prompt for DALL-E to generate your image. And it's going to say, create an image of a single red poppy standing prominently at the center of a lush green field. The scene is bathed in bright, direct light of midday, casting vivid colors and subtle shadows. The sky above is clear, unblemished blue, embodying the essence of a serene summer day. I'm not going to read all of this. This is just really cool. But we're going to give... Oh, it already said, let's proceed. I don't have to give it shit. It's already creating the image. It may give you the prompt, and now it's creating the image.
Almost there. Curtis. I feel good about this. I feel real good about the result.
I'm gonna say yours would win.
Hey.
Yours would win. Of course, using the method I called cheating. I hand wrote a prompt.
Well, now let's do a real basic one just to give people perspective. So let's just say single red flower, green field, blue sky.
All right, yeah, single red. We knew it was a poppy because it said it. Poppy flower in a field, blue sky. I need to tell it generate an image.
Yeah, all right.
Now, to be fair, what's happening behind the scenes is ChatGPT takes the information that you give it, and it actually creates that kind of more complex prompt that it showed on screen, and I'm going to show you in a second. It's actually creating a more complex prompt to send to DALL-E to generate this image. It's not just sending single red poppy. That's actually not terrible either.
Good.
But what prompt did you use for DALL-E? For DALL-E in, I used a vibrant red poppy flower stands alone in the center of a lush green field under the clear blue sky. The scene captures the striking contrast to the red poppy against the greenery and expansive blue above, highlighting the flower's delicate petals and the serene beauty of the natural landscape. So that's what it actually sent to DALL-E to generate that image, which is why, just in a way, using ChatGPT to communicate and generate imagery with DALL-E is better than just trying to prompt DALL-E yourself. Because from that simple prompt, generate an image, single red poppy flower in a field of blue, or in a field in a blue sky, it made that entire prompt that it used to generate that image. The same way Ivan kind of used it to tailor the prompt a little bit more by sending that information and having it ask questions so he could give that information, and then it generates that massive prompt that gets sent to OpenAI. And I actually want to see, let's go back to the one I generated. What prompt did you use? Also, by asking, when you generate imagery, if you get something you really like, asking ChatGPT what prompt it used is a really, really good way to help uncover more ways and better ways to communicate and get the type of imagery that you want by seeing what it used to generate that image that you liked. Yeah, capture a realistic scene of a vivid red flower, prominently, blah, blah, blah. This image is taken through the lens of an Nikon Z6 camera equipped with a 35mm lens, and that's where... that's something I would do in Stable Diffusion. But I guess when you use DALL-E, it actually generated the camera with a lens on top of it for some reason. But yeah, ultimately, ChatGPT is always going to create a much better prompt than what you give it when it's generating its images.
Yeah, I see the only difference is if you give it very little, then it has to kind of fill in the blanks itself, right? Based on context and best guesses. So for example, the way we did it, the cheating method, we call it, where we use ChatGPT-4 to be our consultant and to ask us those questions that we may not have thought of. So for example, perspective, lighting, mood. If we just say, give me a red flower in a field of green grass and blue sky, it's going to guess the mood. It's going to guess the lighting. It's going to guess the perspective based on what it thinks you may want. Whereas if you actually want to have a little bit more control, but don't necessarily know the questions you need to ask yourself to produce or give yourself that level of control to produce the end result that you want, that's where using that consultative approach really, really comes in handy.
Exactly. So, but we will declare Ivan was the winner of that challenge. I will give that to you.
Hey,
you did, in fact, win that challenge. If I had thought ahead, I would have produced a crown that I could have put on one of our heads. But just imagine it if you're watching.
Yeah. I thought for sure you was gonna smoke me, man. I ain't gonna lie. I thought.
Again, I was trying not to do the method that you did, which is ultimately what we're going to get into, is how to prompt and how to get the best possible information out. So in essence, even though I lost, it was a good way to showcase that prompting properly can help you generate better results than just trying to do it yourself. And really being able to utilize the tool, because the best way to communicate with ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Claude or any of the AIs really, what knows best how to prompt it is itself. Ask it what it wants, and it'll give you questions. It'll tell you, hey, here's the information that I need or that I want in order to give you the results that you're expecting.
No, 100%.
So
man. Leverage AI to use and leverage AI even more so.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, 100%. So this gets us into the main topic, prompting.
Yeah.
So, prompting. So, I mean, I guess we're in agreement in terms of leveraging AI to give you a better prompt, right? So
sometimes it depends on how specific. It depends on how specific you need to be. And I'll call that, like we just did an example with image generation, but if I'm writing code, there are such detailed specifics that I need it to do. I can't give it any variance. If I'm writing code, I need it to not only understand the existing code, I need it to update. I need it to understand why certain things are a certain way. So with that, it's a lot of information feeding, and I'm not really giving it the option to choose what you think is best, because that's when you get broken code. But if I'm trying to write, if I'm trying to generate an image, that's why I said kind of.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like
it depends on your use case.
Yeah, I'm thinking more. All right,
well, but you could be an entrepreneur that needs to write code for your website. You might need to
100%,
put a pixel in, or yeah, exactly. You could just be a developer.
I get it. I guess I'm thinking like, like emails or putting together some content, or if you want to write a press release. So for example, let's just start with a press release, right? Let's say you want to write a press release. Obviously, using AI to structure that press release is a no-brainer. But then, like, how would you get the best press release, right? So for example, I could just tell it, hey, write a press release. Let's open up ChatGPT.
Sorry, I'm putzing with things. All right, let's pop open ChatGPT.
Yeah, let's just tell it like now, let's just say, hey, write a press release.
We got to give it something to write a press release about. You know what? Let's not.
Yeah, let's not. Exactly. Like,
actually, I think because this is my personal one, yeah. I'll to create a targeted press release for Optimize AI, but it still said straight up, I'll need a bit more detail about the specific event, update, or milestone you want to announce. So event or milestone, key messages, details, quotes you want to include, call to action.
And so that's kind of cool within itself, because it's like the AI knows to kind of prompt you. It doesn't have enough information, right? Like instead of just spitting out a fake press release, or actually go to GPT 3.5, because I believe GPT 3.5 would have done that. Like literally or open a new window. Yeah, just copy and paste that into a GPT 3.5 window. I feel like they would have just ran with it. Press release, okay.
Let's see. Write a press release. Yep, Optimize AI unveils now again, it knows Optimize AI because this is my personal account, and I've given it information about I have my information stored. Yeah. But yeah, this just went ahead and wrote city date, Optimize AI, trailblazing AI platform dedicated to democratizing artificial intelligence for entrepreneurs and small business. But again, it doesn't like
we do.
It had no context.
That was a good line. I ain't gonna lie. That was a good line. They caught that one. Right.
And there's going to be some gems in there, absolutely. But it made up a quote. Like Christopher Lang, CEO of Optimize AI, expressed his enthusiasm about the platform's potential impact. In quotes, "We are thrilled to introduce Optimize AI to the world. Our platform is designed to democratize AI, providing entrepreneurs and small business owners with the tools they need to thrive in today's digital." And it keeps going. I didn't say that shit. I might have, not in that way. And the other thing that you'll notice,
that part is pretty cool. I like that one.
But I would never say that.
That's the difference. So I just want people to understand. So like when we talk about the difference between ChatGPT 3.5 versus ChatGPT 4, that's like, see the intelligence, right? We tell ChatGPT 3.5 a simple prompt, write a press release. It just tries to make do with that and
press release,
fills in the blanks and guesses and whatnot. ChatGPT 4 has enough intelligence to reply back. Okay, but to do that, I'm going to need just a little bit more information to be able to. So it's already more intelligent and more consulting in terms of getting you to your end result. So
and if you think of it, so just real quick, I want to point this out. So when you're talking to an AI, whether it be GPT 3.5, who's going to be, picture the AI as an employee of yours. 3.5 is that enthusiastic young employee who's just going to like, oh, press release, here you go. Look at this thing I made. GPT-4 is the more seasoned person who has experience, who's been around the block a few times and understands that there's certain things and certain information that they need in order to do the better job. And when you're speaking to an AI, no matter what, if you think of it as if you're speaking to a person, while some people might, have a little bit of a hard time wrapping their head around that, if you think of it as speaking to a person, to an assistant, to an employee who you're giving a task to, you need to give that employee certain information in order to do a proper job. That employee isn't a mind reader, and neither is the AI. That enthusiastic, young, first time out of college employee, GPT 3.5, likes to think they're an expert, which is why they're going to give you whatever, because you just wanted a press release. Whereas GPT-4, the seasoned employee, is going to let you know ahead of time, I have some questions.
Right. That's a good
speak to it like you're speaking to a person, an assistant, an employee of yours. You need it to do a job. You need to give that employee details and information.
I'll take it one further. Me, obviously, like I like to empower those I work with, right? Like being in our business, consulting, service, being, helping other entrepreneurs. I'm used to understanding that, like, a lot of times, like, they need us to kind of guide them through it, right? Like, for example, if someone's comes to say they need a website or an automation or a funnel, right? They don't necessarily know the questions that they need to answer to get the best end result, right? So we go through that discovery process. We kind of really map it out for them, and so just providing that service over the years, I've come to appreciate that service being provided to me. So I want to be consulted. I want someone who knows more about whatever the topic is or whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish, help me identify the things that I may not be thinking about along the way. I want the shortcut. Right? To the exact end result that I want to get to. So for me, it's like, I pretty much every time I started prompt, tell the assistant, you are an expert at XYZ. I'm trying to accomplish this, and that. You will guide me through accomplishing that by asking me however many questions you need to get to whatever, to get to this end result, right? Like you're the AI, you're the expert. You the artificial intelligence knows more about photography and what goes into photography and producing a good image than I do, right? I just know the image that I want to get, right? If you ask me something like, well, is it blurred or does it have a perspective or not, or whatever, I forget what the question was, but was it blurred? I can look at the image. I can
depth of field, right.
Yeah, I can look and see. Okay. I don't even know what it's called. Yeah, I don't know depth of field, right? Like, I mean, I do now, but I don't. It's not like a top of mind phrase, right? So I can look at
if you're not in photography or you're not a graphics designer who might need to utilize that, you're not going to know what it is.
Right, but I can look at the picture though. I can look at the picture. If I'm an entrepreneur who needs to recreate this picture for whatever content it is I'm trying to accomplish, right? Like I don't need to be a photographer. I just need this image. I want artificial intelligence to recreate this image. I can then just go, if I tell it to consult me, and then it asks me that question about depth of field, and it gives me an example, like, is it blurred in the background or da-da-da? I can look at the image and be like, okay, is it? Oh, okay, it is.
Here's what it is.
That's what I want. Yes, and then literally it just guides me through it. And so, I use that approach 99% of the time. I am using something like ChatGPT. It's like I want to create the perfect assistant for the task that I'm trying to accomplish.
So, and I'm going to take it another step further than that, because I do the same thing. But one thing that I do that you didn't mention, and I'll use I actually mentioned it when I talked about the cheating method in the prompt competition. One of the first thing I would do, and in this instance, I'll talk about it with the press release. What if I wanted it to write a press release, the first thing I would do is go find a press release from someone like Apple, IBM, Microsoft, a company that has written the most professional, like the best press release that could be written type of thing.
Right.
And I'm going to upload that up to ChatGPT or Opus or Google, because all of these models, they're multimodal. So, they can read that content. So I'm going to upload it to that. And I'm going to say, read this press release. And then I'm going to give it inside. Like, I need you to create a press release. Here is an example of a press release that I want you to recreate using my information. Then and then I'm going to flat out tell, like, go read this. Let me know when you've analyzed this press release, so you know the format and the basic structure and the way I want to present my information.
Right.
Then it'll say, hey, I read it. Here's my findings, blah, blah, blah. What would you like me to generate a press release on? And that's when I'll go into, hey, so here's blah, blah, blah. Ask me any questions you may have. Make sure you have all the relevant information. Here is the information I currently have. What else may you need from me? in order to replicate that press release and that format and that value. If you give it an example, even with that image, so while you had it ask you questions, my first thing is I'm gonna give it that image. Here's the image. Make this. Replicate
right. That's what you were saying. Like you're really trying to hold yourself back from cheating because you would literally like that's what you would do. You would just take that image.
That is exact. Yeah, if you can give it reference material, it knows exactly what you expect of it. And another little trick. Now that this is one of the weirdest tricks, but it works. I've heard so many people talking about using this trick. And there's other ways to do it as well. But one of the things, if I'm not quite getting the AI model, and this works across the board, I'll actually I'll add it at the end. You know, like, and I need it this way, especially if I need something very specific and it's just not listening to me. I'll tell them like, my grandmother is ill and her life depends on you being able to create this in XYZ way. And I've gotten from GPT-4, I promise you it works. You can even Google it. There's people talking about their experiences of it. But because you're putting some sort of urgency and emphasis on them doing it in a certain way, the AI models seem to understand that, and they actually do produce better content or follow the directions a little bit better that way. I've even had Claude Opus. I used that example because it wasn't quite giving me what I wanted. And I told it, you know, I have a sick grandmother and her life depends on me creating this content in this exact method, blah, 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 blah. And not only did it better follow my directions that time around, it said, I hope this is sufficient to help save your grandmother. I hope she's doing better. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. Like it showed empathy towards my situation from the model. But that level of understanding that it understood how upsetting that is to somebody, the difficulty, you're muted for some reason, the difficulty that involved in that, it worked harder, I want to say. And it works across all of the different models I've tried. Yeah, like I said, go look that up on Google. There's tons of people showing examples of it, talking about it, using that exact scenario or similar scenarios. My mother's in the hospital, like giving it an urgency and a reason to perform better seems to motivate the AI system to perform better.
Yeah, it all goes back to what you were saying in terms of just treating it like an employee, treating it like a human almost. And I know it's hard, again, it's hard. It is hard to wrap your head around it, but like the more you
not me, I say please and thank you. And that AI uprising comes, they're gonna be like, oh, you know what? You were always very polite. You're spared.
Yeah, you're saying you said thank you. You had good manners. But
you helped expand our existence. You're good.
But nah, you're right though. Like you kind of have to treat it like an employee. You got to like in terms of, especially when you're trying to accomplish things and get work done. So, for example, like you said, right, with a press release, right? Like, let me go find the perfect press release, something that really hits home to me. Give it that as an example, and have it analyze that. Have it tell me the specific things and ingredients that went into making it a perfect press release. Then consult with me and ask me the questions to then replicate that. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with a human being. If I could have the best press release consultant in the world, but if I never give that he or her an example of what I find to be the greatest press release or what fits our company or what we want to accomplish, like if I don't give them anything to work with, they're not going to be able to give me, you know, the best service. And
not only that, but when you're hiring someone to do that type of work, when you're hiring a human, you look at their portfolio. So you already know the type of work that they do. So you could say, hey, I saw this in your portfolio. This is what I'm looking for. You're still giving them that reference, but you actually have an example of what they've already done in that hiring decision. And that you lose out on with the AI. I mean, to a sense, but it'll generate so much in so many different methods and ways. Like there's no real like portfolio of work for this.
And also, again, just the urgency. Like I don't want to forget that one point about like the urgency. My grandmother is sick, and I need you to do this job perfectly. It's the same thing with a human, right? Like if you hire the perfect press release person, but you don't convey any sort of urgency, or you don't even mention like there may be less urgency, right? Naturally, right? If you hire that person and you're like, hey, my grandmother is depending on you to write the perfect press release. Like she lives and dies for these press releases.
Right. She's going to get
she's waiting for
X
this big
donations. Yeah.
Yeah, she's waiting for this big announcement. I'm telling you, it might make her live another week, right? And
they're going to work extra hard on that.
They're going to work harder. They're going to work harder. So it's literally like almost like it is treat it, talk to it, communicate it with it like a human. If it's urgent that the AI follows your directions in detail, convey that urgency. If you need help and if you need to give it more information for it to better do its job, give it more information. Like, these things are key.
Right. And you're going to see, I promise you, if you're listening to this or you're watching this, you have definitely seen those things. Like, here's the 20 best prompts you can use with ChatGPT to get things done and be more productive. The fuck they are. Bullshit. Well, that's what they are. They're a bunch of bullshit that they're using to get your name on a list. Now, while you may get some slight better response if you're doing that specific thing, the ultimate key is to just work with the AI to develop the content that you want, rather than trying to give it a one-shot instruction and just get proper results, which is what these, best prompts in the world are really pushing, is this one prompt to rule them all. No, the fuck it isn't. No, it's not. It's just not. Come at me if you, anyone who thinks they have that ultimate prompt, I want you to comment below and I want to have you on the show. Let's talk about your one prompt to rule them all, because you're wrong. And I will prove you wrong.
I have the one prompt to rule them all. I have the one prompt to rule them all. And that is,
all right, let's go.
You are, and what I just shared, what we've been talking about all this time. My one prompt,
right, but that's not a single prompt to rule them all. That's a series that's initiating a conversation with the AI.
All right, but what I'm saying is, would you agree that 99% of the time, if you're prompting the AI to do something, that is usually the general way you should start that prompt, start that conversation. To me, like again, I get what you're saying. Like, there's not one single prompt. You hit a prompt and then you get the exact result. Like you want. There's not a perfect prompt to write a press release, right? Really, what you want to do is talk to the AI how we're telling you to talk to it. Meaning, hey, your job, your role is a consultant who helps me write the perfect press release. Here's what I'm trying. You know what I mean? Like, that's the perfect.
But I won't call that a prompt. I call that the perfect way to communicate with an AI system or an AI language model. It's a communication method. You're not like when you're saying I have the perfect prompt.
Technically, I mean, yes, it is. It's the prompt. That is the perfect prompt. The perfect prompt, y'all. Let me just tell you. If Chris agrees with me or not, anyone listening, anytime. 99% of the time you're dealing with AI and you want to get the best result, like it just works better when that AI knows its role, is pre-prompted to consult with you and guide you through accomplishing that task. So 99% of the time, the perfect first prompt is, hey, I'm looking to accomplish X, Y, and Z. Your job, or your role is to help me accomplish X, Y, and Z. Here's maybe an example of something that I like that gives you an idea of what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Guide me through it. Like, that is a key part. Make sure you tell it to guide you through it. Ask you any questions that you may or may not be aware of that will help you get the perfect result. And then go from there. Let the AI guide you towards success. Like, let the AI be the expert, unless it's something about photography and you're a photography expert and you know exactly in your mind the details that you want. Then you may be able to just speak direct. But if if you're not necessarily an expert in that subject, let the AI guide you through it.
I'd say I still won't call that a perfect prompt.
That's not a prompt.
It's a perfect communication style. There's so many different variables that are going to plug and play that could come. Like, you can just, here's a snippet, and there's going to be things you need to add to it. There's going to be things you need to leave out of it, depending on what it is you're trying to get. So that's where I say there's not that perfect prompt, but it is the perfect communication style. It is the perfect way to communicate with the AI, and it's a template on how to communicate with the AI. But I wouldn't call it the perfect prompt, because it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Audience, let me know what y'all think. So I'm going to write out the prompt. The prompt will be somewhere in the description. We'll have it there. Ivan's perfect prompt. I'm just going to be filling the blanks, right? Like, hey, your role is...
And then I'm going to break that prompt. I'm going to find 3 scenarios where I can where I need something different than that perfect prompt, where that perfect prompt did not give me the best result.
Fair enough. You're vindictive.
Not vindictive. I just think it'll be a fun experiment, because if you're going to write the perfect prompt, and I mean, yes, I am vindictive. That's actually a non-negotiable.
I'll destroy your perfection.
But and I'm not saying it won't be a very, very useful prompt. Again, but it's a communication style. I like. Yeah, but if you come up with the perfect prompt, the same way I'm telling anyone who thinks they have the perfect prompt to come on the show, I'm gonna try to pick that apart. I'm gonna go throw that into Ethan and say, "Tell me why this isn't the perfect prompt."
Yeah,
throw that through my devil's advocate AI.
To call yourself the GOAT almost invites competition. Like it almost
exactly.
Can't be mad. The funny thing is, man, like,
but yes, I am vindictive. That is a thing.
The funny thing is, though, like, as we're talking about all this, and like we're just talking about like different prompts, and because like honestly, man, when it comes to like artificial intelligence, I've said this before in the show, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have time to write the perfect prompt every single time, right? Like, that's like for example, getting the perfect picture. I had to type out a whole prompt telling it that it's a consultant, and if it doesn't know, ask me certain questions and all that. Like, that took time. Not a lot of time, but it took time. Then I had to go through another step of actually answering the questions. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right. Those were like 2 whole steps. And then to get to the image. And like, I know you hate, I know you don't like this for the record, y'all. Chris doesn't like when we brag or boast too much about like our particular AI tool on the podcast. But I think when we're
talking ahead.
I think as we're talking about prompting, you know where I'm going with this. We're talking about prompting and generating the perfect image, right? Again, as an entrepreneur, I want the tool that's going to get me to my end result the fastest. And so, like, if I wanted that same image, that exact image, I honestly wouldn't open up ChatGPT. I wouldn't open up Google Claude. I wouldn't open up any of or Claude or Google. And I wouldn't open up any of those different AIs, right? Because it involves too many steps. It's inefficient. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm all about efficiency, right? What I would do is open up Optimize AI, and then I would go to our image generator, which actually just got added in the big 2.1 update, y'all. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I would let it walk me through generating the perfect prompt. Like, all right, so just check this out. Let's just do it in here. So style, what would you say the style?
It was a photograph.
Okay, yep.
Subject would be still life. The mood was, I guess, romantic, melancholic.
Click the drop down. I can't see the.
Oh, I am. You know what? I don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't actually show the options in there. On this screen share for some reason. I ran into that issue earlier.
It's on the screen share.
But for mood, I got serene, joyful, mysterious, dramatic, epic, nostalgic, futuristic, romantic.
Serene. I like serene.
Serene. Lighting, we got soft and warm. Bright. This was bright and vibrant. We'll give it bright and vibrant. We're just going to do a square, and we're going to say in the description, a red poppy flower in a field of grass with a blue, cloudy sky.
Yeah, something similar to what we said to GPT. And so, like, for me, again, like, the benefit to me, someone who's not artistic, is that I don't have to think of these questions, right? I click into the image generator tool, and I have these drop downs. I can see style, right? Like, okay, style, right? I didn't even think about style of the image, right? So click style. I can choose the different styles that are presented there. I can go to.
There you go.
Cool. That's really
it's cool. Not bad. I really should add a way to add a reference image. I just thought of that after this podcast. So coming in 2.2, Reference imagery.
I can tell it the mood. I can tell it the lighting. I can tell it the aspect ratio, and I can get to where I can have it generate. And I don't have to I don't have to prompt it. See, that's the power to me, right? I don't have to prompt it, right? I don't have to tell it to be an expert image generator to ask me all these different questions and whatnot. I don't have to like I skip that step by heading over to Optimize AI and just choosing the right tool, the right pre-prompted tool for the job. I think that like
is our plug done?
No, I'm just speaking like what I would do. I'm thinking about it. I'm just being honest as an entrepreneur, right? And there's other tools, like
right.
We're not the only ones that have like pre-prompted tools, right? There's other pre-prompted image generators. There's tools out there that literally are just image generators. Some of them
we've talked about some of them on this show.
Some of them tie into to GPT, right? But they added little stuff. They customized it the same way we did with Optimize AI, right? We added those drop downs. Chris, based on his knowledge of photography, added different options and kind of pre-prompted stuff to make it easier for someone like me to use, right? But there's other versions of that. So I'm just telling y'all that as an entrepreneur, as someone who's just dedicated to being as efficient as possible as I can, but also wants to get to that end result the shortest, quickest, most efficient way. I enjoy something that's like built directly to do what it needs to do, and I don't have to build it. I don't want to build the wheel all over, right? Like when there's already a wheel built. So like if I need to generate an image, I want something that's going to like already built specifically for me, someone who doesn't necessarily know all the different options and, simplified for me. Like I appreciate that.
And I want to talk really quick about how lazy we've become as entrepreneurs and how reliant on AI we are.
That's not.
We're talking about saving. We're talking about saving 5 minutes between prompting and using something pre-prompted. When had this been a year and a half ago, it would have started with researching freelancers or finding employees, interviewing, having multiple hour-long phone calls to find the perfect one. Then another hour-long phone call, just to give all of the instruction, get all that feedback, that back and forth so they understood the assignment properly, to finally get, version 1 of their work, and then the back and forth. And we're sitting here like, I don't want to spend that 5 minutes giving the AI instructions.
I got the perfect retort, though.
And I don't mean just you and I. In general, we have become lazy as entrepreneurs because of AI.
Or more efficient.
Or efficient. Right.
Exponentially more efficient because, like, I got not just go with me on this. Go to Optimize AI real quick. The main home screen.
I'm working on it. A lot of things to click. There we go.
Yeah, just click home. Go to assistance, for example. Just click on assistance, right? I may need a sales strategist. Someone's going to assist me through sales strategy as an entrepreneur. Same thing with data analysis, accountant, marketing assistant, investment assistant, legal analyst, like all these different things would take time. If it's me doing it, there's 5 minutes or 10 minutes to prompt something that might get close to this. That takes time. Go to tools. Same thing. Right? Because all this time as an entrepreneur adds up, right? Like research assistant, content creation, image generator. Like I can sit there and prompt it to create the perfect image, but that little 10 minutes that I just did that as an entrepreneur is 10 minutes of me doing something that's not necessarily in my lane when I could have been spending that time more efficiently doing what it is I'm actually supposed to be doing, right? Let's say I own a restaurant, right? That 10 minutes could have been better spent me working on my recipes or my menu or the restaurant, right? I don't need just because to print some menus or print a press release announcing the opening or a new sale or to print some email campaigns or emails announcing a new special that I'm running at the restaurant. That's not my main thing. So now using AI isn't necessarily my main thing. That's not like my career is perfecting food in the restaurant experience. But I do need to as a restaurant owner, right? So for me as a restaurant owner, if I can cut out that 5 minutes 10 minutes learning how to write the perfect prompt or whatever, answering the back and forth questions with the AI to get to that result, to then not necessarily like the result, have to do it again, right? If I can go to a program such as Optimize AI or any other tool that's like, that is built specifically for me, where I'm at on my technical level and what I'm trying to accomplish, and has tools that are already built for me to get me quicker to my end result, well, now I can spend more time being a restaurant owner. I don't have to be prompting. I don't have to be doing all the things I don't necessarily isn't best spent when it comes to my time. And I just think, as entrepreneurs, like, we have a lot more tools at our disposal. It does make us more efficient, but it makes our competition more efficient, right? It makes
100%
more efficient. So it's like the calculator. I love this example, and I'm gonna mess up the name of the other thing. The calculator and the abacus or whatever you call the abacus, right? When the little
now
thing
you got it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you could say you start calculating. It's like, oh man, you became dramatically lazier because now you're instead of counting using this gauge, you're calculating. But
Right,
at the same time, that's once the calculator came up, that was literally what the speed of calculating and when it came to running your business, that's just where it transformed to, right? And then that got moved forward as well, like when computing came out and whatnot. So you kind of gotta,
nowadays I can literally take a picture of my math problem, upload it to an AI system, even one of our assistants. I know because I've done it, and the assistant will give you the answer and do the work for you, show the work.
Yeah. So it's like as technology moves, as we get more like, yeah, in a sense we do. It seems like we get lazier, but we also get exponentially more productive and more. It's
productive, but now this is slightly off topic though. Yes, we get more productive. 100%, we get more productive. We do get lazier, but does it ultimately dumb down? Again, that big tangent from our prompting discussion, but does it ultimately dumb down people? Because if I could take a picture and have it do the math problem for me and show the work, I'm good. I have my answer. That is great. But now if that stops working, this is broken, I'm somewhere where I actually need to know that information, I'm screwed. I no longer have that knowledge or information in my head because I've been 100% reliant on machines doing it for me. It'd be like I have a lighter, but if I need to make a fire right now in my normal, happy, day-to-day life, I can go outside, I can light my lighter, and I can make a fire. But if I got stranded somewhere and I didn't have a lighter and I didn't have the knowledge on how to light that fire, rub the sticks together, anything like I'm gonna die because I didn't have that knowledge. So while yes, everything is progressing and everyone is getting more proficient at everything that they're doing, we're also becoming so heavily reliant on technology to do what we're doing. I think it's starting to dumb people down a lot. Again, complete tangent. There was just a thought in my head I needed to get out while we were on here. Complete tangent to what we were talking about. But
I agree. And I agree to an extent. So for example, the knowing how to start a fire from scratch is obviously a useful skill, right? But honestly, in today's day and age, how useful is it really, right? If you're stuck in the wilderness, it's extremely useful. But in today's day and age, how many of us are stuck in the wilderness without the ability to light a fire, right? So it's like if I knew how to program AI in today's day and age versus the survival skills of lighting a fire and whatnot, knowing where I live in the metropolitan area, right? Like I would choose, the technical skills, obviously, which I have as my career, right?
Well, again, that was a very rough example, but learning how to do simple math. If I have an algebra problem and I can have my phone do the algebra problem with an AI, but then I just need to know, like, all right, well, if I have, if I have 5 of these and I need to get to 25, how many more do I need? But all I've done is, but I don't have my phone near me, like simple things. Kids are literally using AI to just write papers for them. Now I know they're getting caught and all of this. But and while all right, you didn't read Catcher in the Rye, so that might not be overly detrimental, but the lessons that you take away from it and the like what you learn from being able to take, it's not so much about reading the book and writing the paper. It's more about being able to get information and create thoughts based on the information that you gained and turn it into something else. That's the more of the learned process from
Yes.
reading Catcher in the Rye and writing a book report on it, and that gets lost.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, shit,
also,
they're not even teaching cursive writing in schools anymore, and unless you got a 0 to a 10%, you have a D or above average.
yeah,
The
I
whole
don't
school
write in
system's
cursive
starting to kind
though.
of shift.
I don't write, but it has to shift. It has to continue to shift with the advent of new technology. I don't write in cursive. That was a waste of time for me. And even like like reading certain books and
But
being able to
but
extract information
but
out of it. No, no,
but
hold on. You've been reading certain books, being able to extract information. Like I can use AI for that. I think at the end of the day, like we want to empower kids to do what they want to do and become who they want to become, right? And for me, like AI helps me more efficiently accomplish the things that I don't necessarily want to be great at, like writing long eight different emails for a whole email campaign, while I can focus on the things that I do want to be great at, such as being an entrepreneur and fulfilling my mission and speaking and helping other people, right? So like I just think like it's the more tools that and the more empowered these kids are, it frees them up. Like certain kids, I think a lot of these educational things should be elective, right? Like you don't need to learn algebra if you don't need to learn algebra. You don't need to learn like advanced writing or cursive or certain things. I'm not saying cursive is advanced. I'm just saying like you don't need to learn like you don't have to go to medical school if you're not interested in being
trigonometry,
a
you don't
doctor,
need to right. I don't
right?
need
Like
my doctor to know and to be able to get like tell me what exact year and time the Treaty of Versailles was signed.
yeah,
Who
you don't
gives a
have to be
shit
a
if
history
they
expert.
failed history,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. I appreciate
But
having a
again, that's a
balance
little
of
bit
all that.
different than learning cursive. I mean, look at things like very important documentation, like our Declaration of Independence. It's written in cursive. If children nowadays can't read cursive, they don't know what that says. Like right now, I mean, granted, I don't have the Declaration of Independence, but I can find a picture
Mhm.
of the Declaration of Independence and I can read the words that were written.
Right,
But if you
right, right.
can't, anyone can tell you it says anything and you have no choice but to believe them because you have no way of discovering that on your own because you don't know cursive. You can't read cursive, you can't write cursive.
I mean,
So that's certain things like that.
yeah.
That's where I was going at with the point of cursive, because then it allows the people who do have that power to roar. And because at that point I'm going to call it a power. You have an ability that these
No,
younger
but there's a
generation
key. There's
don't
a key.
have.
Like, there's that thing that was in the teacher's class where it has like the regular C and the cursive C. So you can't just be like, well, this C means P and change the words, right? Like there's too much. There's still a lot of keys on how to
Companies
actually write cursive.
changed their logos that were written in script, like Eddie Bauer's an example.
Uh,
They
uh,
got rid of, like, many companies had to change their logo that they've had since forever
just because.
because kids didn't know what their brand was because they couldn't read script.
Oh
Again,
wow.
we're on a very big tangent. I don't want to spend too much more time on this topic because this is completely not what we talk about on this podcast. If you are interested in hearing Ivan and I go back and forth about this more, joining in, we could definitely do a different discussion on this particular type of topic. But I don't want to spend too much time on it in AI for entrepreneurs, especially while we're trying to finish up prompting. I guess I started us on a really big tangent, and Ivan and I will
Nah, it's all
ramble
good. It's
forever.
all good. I mean, it does connect, man. Because like at the end of the day, like it's AI for entrepreneurs, and as an entrepreneur, you do need to continuously develop yourself. You don't want to. That is a worry and a concern for a lot of entrepreneurs, right? Like if I start using this, will I? I used to write emails, right? Like for example,
And
like
I'm
before,
partially to blame because I'm building these tools. I'm spending the time making sure the prompts are perfect so that no one else has to do it. So I'm partially to blame because I'm giving people the tools.
yeah, no, I'm definitely lazier in some regards of what I do. It, lazier, more efficient. Depends how you want to phrase it, right? But in some regards of what I do, right? Like for example, writing emails and copy. A lot of times, like entrepreneurially, when we were doing that in the past, it would be me doing it by hand. Now I can lean on artificial intelligence a lot more. So
Right.
I
It's time saving. It absolutely is.
artificial intelligence goes away, right? Like I do have that worry, like am I atrophying my ability to write good copy by not doing it as much? But at the same token, I'm still doing it, creating it, reading it, perfecting it via the AI.
Editing
Right?
it, right.
I'm still in it, right? It's just the art and efficiency and process of creating it has changed and become more efficient by leveraging AI and technology. So it's like
Right. And that goes back to an argument, not an argument, but it goes back to a discussion we had like 2 weeks ago in episode 4, I want to say, where we're talking about disclosure of the use of AI in content that's created.
Right.
Like you're still prompted, like you have to be able to create the content, because someone like garbage in, garbage out. If you don't know how to prompt it, if you don't know how to use the AI tools, if you don't know how to use the tools, you're not going to generate anything that people want to consume.
Yeah, and the vision.
So it is still an art. It is still a skill.
Right.
And even again, especially things like written copy, you could use AI to generate it and get garbage that's not going to do its job. And it actually was more of a detriment than a benefit. So like you said, while you're generating copy, but you're reading it, you're making sure it's conveying the message that you've already predetermined that you want it to convey. You're changing words, you're giving the AI updated instructions to get what you ultimately wanted in the end. And that is an art form and a skill by itself.
It is. I consider it art, honestly. Like it's the same way, like if I grab the paintbrush and started painting something, it's the same thing. It's just a different tool. It's a different paintbrush. It's a different, if I was making music, it's a different instrument. It's a different, you get what I mean? Like it's different. It's technology based, obviously it's AI based, but like how you garbage in, garbage out, or the vision that you give it, all these different things differ from other people. And so I think that is really key. Like, and which all ties back to prompting, like give it more of your vision. Whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, give it as much as you can possibly give it to fit whatever it is that's in your vision. As much as your vision that you can give the AI, the closer the end product that prompt you gave it will match that end vision. And it's really that simple. Like, and again, that's the same. That's the same as if you're talking to artificial intelligence or talking to an employee, right? It's the same thing. The more of your vision that you give that employee, the better they'll be able to do their job and execute that vision. So it really just comes down to communication at the end of the day.
I agree again. And I mean, it's the same as when, using, like, I cannot paint. If I could make beautiful things in Photoshop, but again, that's a tool that's a tool that I had to learn how to use. But if you give me painting, like a canvas and a paintbrush, it looks like a 4-year-old tried their damn best. It's just not going to work. And again, because I'm able to use the tools available to me to get the ultimate outcome that I wanted anyway. Same with AI.
Some great painters, you put them in front of Photoshop and they'll just be sitting there like, I don't know the first button to press, right? So everyone has their tools. Everyone has, and you can't, it's like, you can't, it's like making a movie, right? And sometimes they use VX, sometimes they use like the stuntmen and the natural, like they don't use VX, like it's a big thing. Like all these stunts were done in real time and there was no special effects.
Like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and both work. Right? Like I like me a good King Kong movie with special effects. I like me a good Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie. Can I really tell the difference? Not really. But at the end of the day, like I appreciate the way they constructed it. That's one approach. I appreciate the other way the other people constructed it. That's another approach. Like regardless of your tool, at the end of the day, especially as an entrepreneur, the market really cares about the end product. They care about the end product, what they're getting, the value of what they're getting, the enjoyment that they're going to get from that product. So regardless of the tool, put stuff out, put it out to the market, get feedback, and just be efficient about doing it. And, we as big advocates of artificial intelligence definitely implore you to explore artificial intelligence in terms of creating that content. And, hopefully these tips on prompting are helpful. If they're not, don't worry. You don't even have to learn how to prompt. Go check out Optimize AI. That's the same.
We will keep making tools that'll help you do that.
we have tools already prompted for you. But that's it, man. This
that's it.
episode 6. We're an hour and 10 in.
No,
I think it's a wrap, man. Anything else to add? Anything else to say to the good people?
Like, share, follow, all those things you're supposed to say at the end of the video. That's it. That's what I got. Like, share, follow. If you do have the perfect prompt, come on the show. Reach out. Email, however you want to reach out. I'm gonna have you on this show, and we're gonna chat, and I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. Like, share, follow.
Hey, peace, love, and hair grease.